there's always going to be a lot of headlines that come out at the NFL Combine, and I'm sure that there's going to be plenty more that comes out later on this week. Tennessee Titans sit with the first overall pick. There is a lot that they can do at the spot. They can draft Travis Hunter. They can draft Abdul Carter. They could draft Cam Ward. They could draft Shedeur Sanders. They could trade back off of that first overall pick. Now, they have a new general manager, Mike Borgonzi, and he answered a question regarding if he's been getting any phone calls about this first overall pick. He said, I would say we've had some phone calls, yeah, and I'll keep those phone calls close to the vest. We've had some phone calls. Kind of sounds like, just an initial thought here, is that not something you'd say if you didn't get any phone calls? Is that not something that you would say if you were just trying to make it seem like there was more interest for this than it was? It's like saying in high school, yeah, I've got a girlfriend, but she goes to a different school. You wouldn't know her. It kind of, am I reading into this a little bit too much? Like, everybody wants this first overall pick. Yeah, everyone's calling. They're all calling him. I can't say who, but there's just a big market for this right now.
I'm so sick of these GM mind games. Everyone thinking that they're playing chess. You're captaining a bad franchise. Let's act like it. Let's act like we've maybe you act like you've never been here before. Like, oh no, I could never imagine getting the number 1 pick. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm so used to picking in the 20s because I'm so good, and that's why they're paying me the big bucks. Not all this they might be calling, they might not be calling. Oh, would you like to be the next caller for the number 1 overall pick? Because I don't know what I'm doing. And that's what he seems to be looking for, a parachute that he can pull on as he's about to dive into a number 1 overall pick that is not going to net the return that we would expect from other years in the NFL draft. He's looking for someone to save him out of this, and appearing the buffoon doesn't seem like it's going to work for him.
Well, one of the things that he also said, anytime you're trading up to the number 1 pick, you're going to expect a big return. So I think that's our expectation when asked about whatever compensation he was going to receive. I don't think a lot of people realize that, as one you just mentioned, it's not a great quarterback class, so there's not going to be a big market for this. 2, most of the teams that would trade up are in really close range, so I don't think that there's going to be this king's ransom like what happened with the Bears and the Panthers and that move that happened recently with Bryce Young.
Yeah,
I feel like this is going to be mostly day 2 picks. I don't really think that this is going to be some sort of a massive haul. Are you a Draft Day fan? Have you seen the movie Draft Day?
I have many times, yes.
Borgonzi's also giving me a little bit of vibes.
My name's Sonny. I'm gravelly.
Hey, hey, you don't disrespect.
I can't disrespect the cost.
No,
in a regrettable film.
It reminds me though of the Seahawks when in that movie when the Seahawks were sitting with the first overall pick and they were uncertain on what they should have done with Bo Callahan, and they just moved off the pick. They wanted to seem like that they were, they were getting you just mentioned the parachute. They were just getting out of there.
Yeah,
that part of me gets a little bit of those vibes with the Titans. I'm mostly speaking sarcastically and jokingly. This is not how NFL franchises operate.
These bloggers are going to watch your head. You're not going to be able to get out of this thing unless you
those
deal
podcasters.
Oh, they're going to be lining up outside of Legion Field. No, you're going to be fine. You're the GM. They're not going to be tracking you down. Closest we've seen to that is the fear-mongering this year from the Luka trade that was perpetuated in Dallas.
That was ridiculous, by the way. God. So fake. I don't think anyone was calling in that, hey, I'm gonna kill the GM of the Dallas Mavs because they traded away Luka Doncic.
Here's what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna rewatch Draft Day this year. I don't want to rewatch Draft Day. I don't want to rewatch. What are you doing to my team? I did that. The head coach stunk. The owner stunk. Costner tried his hardest. It was way too much going on, and it's an NFL draft movie. I think it's the best you're ever going to get with an NFL draft movie.
It's the only NFL draft movie. There's never going to be anything else like it.
I'm going to cook this goose and carve it up when I decide to load this movie and watch it.
When was the last time you watched it?
With you, I think, in college.
Did we?
Yes. I think we watched it multiple times.
No, I think you're making that up.
No, because you would watch it every year, wouldn't you?
Let's stay on track. I don't remember the last time I watched it, but let's stay on track here. If you are the Titans, what are you doing? I still stand by, I think that the Titans are best off trading out of the pick. I think that there is an option to take advantage of some poor soul, some dumbass franchise that is incredibly desperate. And as I just mentioned a second ago, not a very big market to trade up, but like he's already starting to do right now, one can be created. One could be created. And I'm looking at the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders haven't had a quarterback or success in a while. Derek Carr was their last guy, and he was unimpressive overall. Did some nice things, but they haven't had like a premier elite quarterback. The Raiders are a team that you could 100% swindle into moving up to that spot. If you can get a lot of draft capital, this team I don't think is in like a prime position right this second to immediately compete to win the AFC South. I'm moving back. I'm letting somebody else come up to the top, and I'm accumulating picks. Do what the Bears did, and have all those picks to have the right environment for whoever is going to be next year's draft pick.
Tell you what, this Titans team is begging to get out of this pick. I think they should get out of this pick. They're all over the place with their needs. I think it is a depth draft that would help them more than one star at the number 1 overall pick. This is tough, though, because with the Combine news and the Combine taking place, they're hoping that maybe Abdul Carter turns in one of the best performances at a Combine you've seen. You're hoping
he's not participating.
Oh, that stinks. What about Shedeur Sanders?
Not
They're hoping. Oh God, so no one can fall in love with him at the Combine. Oh yeah. Oh, is Genty participating?
No, Cam Ward's also not throwing.
Oh, so we're just going to be stuck with the number 1 pick after this weekend, regardless. I don't foresee any other teams fall in love with who's buddy from Indiana that's going to be throwing their quarterback.
Curtis Rourke?
No, not Rourke. Maybe Curtis Rourke.
They're not Riley Leonard.
They're not going to be falling in love with those guys to reach up at number 1 and get them at the Combine. Is what I'm thinking about.
Wait. What?
Shuck. I'm thinking of Tyler Shuck is who I'm thinking about.
Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville. Pardon me. The red jersey.
I mean, I would pray to Jesus Christ that nobody would consider moving up to the first overall pick for Tyler Shuck. What were you getting at?
I'm saying that there's not someone that is going to be good enough there that anybody would fall in love with to move into the number 1 overall pick at the Combine. Like, we're not going to have
you're saying that no one's participating that's going to go out there and do
Yes.
some crazy shit that's going to change
Exactly.
the paradigm. You're right. This is probably the lamest first overall pick situation because there's nothing that's going to happen between now and then that's going to change the landscape of the conversation.
If I'm sitting at 2 or 3, I know we're talking about what Tennessee should do. They should try like hell to get out of it. If I'm sitting at 2 or 3, I'm just waiting for them to mess up. I'm waiting for number 1 to make their call. If they bungle it, they bungle it, and then I can just I can change. Or they make a good pick, and then I stick with my war room and figure it out. But this does not bode well. If we had Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, dueling at the Combine, throwing deep balls and absolutely dotting, then maybe we could have a sucker jump in, take the bait, and we have a big trade going. I don't see it happening, though.
The Titans have also been like really complimentary about Shedeur Sanders. I saw a quote today, I'm paraphrasing, that they don't have any worries about his arm strength. They think that the rest of his decision-making, his accuracy, it all makes up for him not having like a super big NFL arm. A lot of those comments also feel like they're being done to, again, stir up the market for the first overall pick and to be like, yeah, we really love this guy. They're constantly publicly complimenting him. That feels like a really big move that you do and something you're just going to keep doing throughout this process. Any chance that you get to talk about him, you're going to say something nice.
Yeah.
Because you want, again, some poor sucker to be like, shit, we don't want to miss out on Shedeur Sanders. We were going to wait and take him at 3 or 5 or whatever and just be patient, hope he slides, and then we'll trade up. But no, we can't miss out on him, so we got to move up to number 1.
I don't think Tennessee could... Shedeur Sanders isn't made for Tennessee. He's not made for the AFC South. He's made for a bigger market. He's made for a team with bigger problems. He's made for a team with bigger desires, even.
Man, you're just digging on the Titans right now.
What have they done?
What have the Titans done to you?
I don't know. They just got rid of Mike Vrabel, who was maybe their best coach in history.
Yeah.
They had a GM that was sleeping on flights. They bring in a bunch of new GMs in executive roles, muddying the waters. I'm sure there's not enough chefs in the kitchen there. I don't know. They let Derrick Henry go to the Ravens. They just let a lot of not good things happen. Drafting J.C. Latham as high as they did and getting not great returns from him.
Is 1 year.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to see a little more. The
whole team was awful. I don't think that much was on J.C. Latham.
But that was a cornerstone piece. I wanted a little more out of Latham. That was a little hard. That's probably a little harsh on him, rookie lineman.
Yeah, I think it is.
I'm ready to see them actually start taking themselves seriously again, because just 4 or 5 years ago, they were a number 1 seed in the AFC, really competing, really battling, and people were coming to them in playoff games. That's gone now, and it's gone with Vrabel. I don't have a ton of faith.
Well, it took a long process of building in order to get to the spot where they were competing consistently for playoffs. I look at this roster right now, and it's got like some positive signs of like a good offensive line and a couple of good defensive pieces, but it's still pretty barren across the board. Like you need better athletes at defensive end. You need better athletes at receiver. You need better athletes at running back. They're not a year away from competing. So instead of drafting a quarterback and hoping you feel better about yourself, instead it's better to build a situation that a young quarterback can succeed in a year later from now.
Yeah.
The problem is do you end up being Eberflus, where you take Caleb Williams, you finally get the chance to make your pick. Say it's Drew Aller that they take next year. And then Brian Callahan just shits his pants so bad that they don't play well enough to save his job for one more year, then you're out the door. That system makes sense from a roster building standpoint, and Ryan Poles did the right things in order to try and facilitate and build a roster, and there's an expectation that the Bears should be really good this year, but it's because Ben Johnson's taking over. It's because Ben Johnson gets to take over that situation. So this probably, in that approach, saves Borgonzi and gives Borgonzi a long runway, but having a quarterback now is something that is going to save Brian Callahan immediately.
Yeah, they're gonna toil with this decision. I know Dukes wants them to take Abdul Carter, and I think they should trade back and take James Pierce Jr. And keep him in Tennessee. I think he would have a lot of fans, volunteer fans, that would transition into Titans fans from his performance for that team. But I think maybe they stay and take a quarterback, and it tanks, and they get another first-round pick next year, or top 5 pick next year. I don't think they're going to be outside of the top 10 next year regardless. So, Tennessee Titan fans, you'll see yourself in this situation again soon.